Hi folks, welcome back. I'm just going to finish this last topic here on the results to evaluate the training. I was talking in the previous video about the fact that, we need to make sure that if we had this training program set up for a specific purpose, maybe we had more complaints from our customers, say, about some of the behaviors of the sales reps. Maybe they thought that sales reps weren't explaining the product properly, or maybe they thought that they weren't closing the sale, they were more confused, that kind of thing. We want to make sure that once our sales reps are trained, we want to make sure that we can gather some data on how they're performing to see if the problem that the training was set up to solve is actually cured, right? So, for example, did the number of customer complaints decrease? And sometimes we do even, we've been talking about sales rep training, but it could even be health and safety training. If we can show people how to drive a forklift properly in a warehouse, right? If we notice before we had a lot of forklift accidents, maybe we'll notice after the health and safety training, maybe the number of accidents decrease. So you should have some metrics in place or some ways you can measure whether or not the training's been effective. Okay, so let's look at how we might evaluate a drug sales rep training program. If we look at reactions, maybe we can provide or get the reaction to the training. Maybe we can provide some trainees with a short reaction survey. Just ask them, what did you like about the training? What didn't you like? It doesn't have to be as elaborate as the sample form that's in your text, but it can be if you want it to be. You might just like it open, like open comment. Would you like, what didn't you like? Even the learning. We might want to give people a multiple choice test. Say, for example, one of the learning needs or one of the objectives of the training was to make sure that some of the trainees learn more about some of the new drugs we had in the marketplace and the medical conditions that they're supposed to treat. We can maybe give them a multiple choice test, okay, to see if they understand that. Or maybe if we wanted to improve the sales skills or the selling skills of our reps, we might want them to do like a stand-up presentation trying to sell some drug products to a potential customer, right? We might want to measure behavior, so or how the training program helped some of the people who were on that drug training program. So we might check with customers. So in order to see whether or not their behavior has changed, we might go to the customers and say, we'll complete a short survey or let us know how, this particular sales rep is doing. We put them on some training to try and overcome some issues that we know some customers had. Did you observe any change in their behavior? And then again, in order to check whether or not the results have actually or the results or whatever the performance problems were that we might have been having, we might want to check after 6 months to see if, for example, we notice that, customers were complaining. Is it the case that after the training, our number of complaints went down? So again, you have to know why you're setting up the training program. The training program has to be put in place in order to solve some particular problem or series of problems. So there should be a reason to doing it. So those are 4 things or 4 areas in any training program. Reaction, which is a reaction from the participants or getting surveying them to find out what they liked or didn't like about the training. Testing, seeing what they learned, seeing if their behaviors on the job have changed, and then checking with the customers who use the products or services that your reps are actually bringing to them to see if there's been any change in the metrics or if the number of complaints have dropped in this case. Okay. Now, we also have some special purpose training. There might be communication training and some essential skills like maybe carpentry skills or whatever might be very job specific. We might want to train people on diversity, making sure that they are welcoming to new people in the workplace and teach them about employment equity. We talked before about harassment and workplace violence training under the Health and Safety Act and the Human Rights Code. Again, you do have an obligation or a right to receive training. There might be specifics with respect to customer service training, teamwork, and again, the Ontario Accessibility Act for those who are disabled. We want to make sure that we understand how to accommodate disabled workers in the workplace. So this concludes our section on training, and next we'll get into career development.